All right, let's dive into the life and legacy of a truly pivotal figure, Sir Syed Ahmed Khan. For anyone studying Pakistan studies, this guy is a huge deal. He's not just a name in a book, he's often called the architect of a whole new future for Muslims in the subcontinent. So how did he do it? Let's get into it.
Now, to really get why Sir Syed was so important, you have to rewind to the time just after the 1857 War of Independence. It was an absolute disaster for the Muslim community. They were crushed, they were lost, and they were at a major crossroads. The big question on everyone's mind was, who's going to lead us out of this mess? So let's first paint a picture of just how bad things really were. The 1857 uprising, what many saw as a fight for freedom, had failed. And for the Muslims of India, the fallout was, well, catastrophic.
You see, the British pointed the finger for the whole uprising directly at the Muslims, and the consequences were brutal. We're talking deep suspicion, open hostility. It wasn't just political. They were locked out of good jobs, branded as traitors, and basically pushed to the margins of society. They were, without a doubt, a community in crisis.
And right into this chaos, this total leadership vacuum, steps our guy. A man who was perfectly, and I mean perfectly, positioned to handle this situation. Why? Because he understood both sides. He got the fears of his own people, and he understood the mindset of the British who were now in charge. Sir Syed Ahmed Khan wasn't some outsider looking in. He was part of the system. He'd worked for the East India Company since 1838 and even became a judge. And this experience gave him a unique perspective. He realized that fighting the British was a dead end. He became totally convinced that the only way forward for Muslims was to cooperate with them, and, this is the key part, to get educated. So where did he even start? Well, his first job was basically damage control. He knew that before anything else could happen, he had to fix the completely broken relationship between the Muslims and the British. But his strategy wasn't about protests or fighting back. Nope, it was something way smarter. Building bridges through communication and ideas. Okay, so get this. Instead of staying quiet, Sir Syed writes this incredibly gutsy pamphlet and sends it straight to the British Parliament. In it, he basically says, hey, this revolt wasn't some Muslim plot. It was your fault. He pointed out that British policies and the lack of Indian voices in government were the real causes. Talk about a risky move, but it was his first big step in trying to clear the air. And he didn't just stop with politics. He went after the religious divide, too. He wrote a commentary on the Bible called Tabyan-ul-Kalam, where he pointed out all the things that Islam and Christianity actually have in common. A brilliant move, right? His goal was to build some mutual respect and show that maybe these two groups weren't so different after all. This quote right here, it's basically his entire philosophy in a nutshell. It's super pragmatic. He wasn't saying, just copy the British blindly. Not at all. He was saying, let's be smart about this. Let's learn what they're good at, especially science and education, and use that knowledge to lift ourselves up. It was all about strategic adaptation. But fixing relationships was really just the short-term plan. It was like putting out a fire. For the long-term survival of his community, Sir Syed knew they needed something much, much bigger. And this brings us to his most famous legacy, a full-blown revolution in modern education. So in 1869, he takes a trip to England, and it completely changes everything. He sees these amazing universities, Oxford and Cambridge, and has this light bulb moment. He sees that this kind of education is the engine behind Britain's power. He was totally blown away and knew right then and there, I have to bring this back home for my people. And that's how the Aligarh Movement was born. But listen, this was not just about building another school. No way. This was about forging a new kind of Muslim. The whole idea was to raise a generation that was an expert in Western science and thinking, but was also deeply proud and knowledgeable about their own Islamic faith and culture. It was the ultimate fusion. So what was the final score? What did all this tireless work actually lead to? Well, Sir Syed's legacy is so much more than just university. He fundamentally changed the course for Muslims in the subcontinent and really laid the foundation for their future. Now, what's really fascinating is how all these pieces fit together. Think about it. By fixing the relationship with the British, he created the breathing room for his education project. Then, the Aligarh movement gave Muslims the skills and the confidence they needed to create a new, modern identity. He literally took a scattered, broken community and united them with a clear path forward. And that really leaves us with a pretty powerful question, doesn't it? The story of Sir Syed shows us how one person, with a clear vision, a vision built on education, dialogue, and smart cooperation, can literally change the destiny of millions of people. It's an incredible lesson in leadership.
Just so you know, all the information we've covered in this explainer comes from the core texts for O-level Pakistan studies. We've listed the main resource on the screen, which is perfect if you want to do some more digging.
Hey, if you found this explainer helpful for your studies, do us a favor and hit that like button. And make sure you subscribe to Spotwork Learning for more content that'll help you ace those exams. Thanks for watching.